Good morning, everyone. Good morning, traders. Hope everyone's doing well today. It is the day before Thanksgiving, so we have that to look forward to. And today, there's a decent bit of news to talk about as we get into the holiday. Today's the I think one of the biggest nights in the US for going out, actually, the day before Thanksgiving on a Wednesday happens to be this year. And I hope everyone is celebrating well in the US, and hopefully it goes well for everyone. We don't have that over in Canada, but uh, we have a longer weekend, right? We have a lower volatility week, a lower volume week that is because of Thanksgiving, right? A lot of people are going to be away and traders are not going to be trading as much throughout this. And what we're going to see is we saw it throughout the week. We saw lower volume. And if we do see a rise or a drop in the market on this lower volume, the likelihood of the opposite side of the traders coming in and picking it up next week is higher and higher of likelihood. But there are a few things to talk about today. We do have FOMC meeting minutes. We do have Jerome Powell coming on the wire. There are continued tech layoffs and also Black Friday. Black Friday is coming up this weekend. I hope everyone's excited for that. This is the first time ever that TradePro Academy does launch an actual discount. So go check that up on the website. We have up to 20% off on the website. So go and look at that. It's until November 28th. So the deadline is coming up. Now that that is out of the way, we can talk about what is going on in these markets, talking a little more about what had happened yesterday, right? With the expectations for today as well. Yesterday, we had a pretty strong rally overall in the market, right? We got a glimpse of the downside to start the day, but pretty much the remainder of the day was a slow grind to the upside. We rallied from about on the futures, I believe the number was about the 60s, right? The high 50s up into the 4,000 region, 4,010. So a solid 40, 50 point move in the overall market. All the meanwhile, right, we do have continued tech layoffs. We saw that the purging came out of the massive, massive tech names, right? Huge headlines from Meta, and Amazon, among others. And monthly new job postings have also plummeted year to date about 30% for the S&P year to date, led by high-paying tech jobs, right? And XLK and financials as well, down about in tech 47%. So we also have. HP, right? HPQ ticker symbol also joining that job cut area, right? This another big tech name that is looking to cut jobs. And realistically, right, these layoff announcements are not necessarily a reliable guide to the jobless claims in the short term. Um, we cannot really ignore the upward trend in the recent months, and claims will likely follow. So that's what an analyst says. Realistically, right, these job cuts, I think, are going to continue in big tech names, right? And that's if you take a look at a business cycle, right? Business cycle or an economic cycle. If you take a look at that graph, realistically, what we see is you have jobs. Um, let me just see. Uh, you have jobs that taper off towards the top, right? If you take a look at one of those graphs, realistically, you're not going to see the job layoffs necessarily at the beginning of it, right? Typically, you have a slowdown in hiring towards the decline stage rather than the peak. So the peak has already happened naturally, and you won't see a tapering in that until we've actually seen a stronger drop in the market. Now, will the recession be more of a step down approach, or will it be a drastic drop? Now, the point being here is when we get these layoffs, right, when we get these general layoffs in the job market based on the economic front and the economic cycle, it's going to happen somewhere right after the peak, right? You already see the decline. It's more of a lagging indicator where things are going south, and you're starting to see these job cuts. As the job cuts continue to accelerate, right, you start dropping more until we have that revival aspect. And I think that these job cuts in the large tech companies, right, I don't think that they're necessarily going to be over this year. I don't think that this is the peak of them, but I don't necessarily see them being cut a drastic amount more, right? We've yet to see jobs in the white collar realm really accelerate, which are in the financial sphere, right? Financials job postings, new monthly job postings are down 34% year to date, right? So that's something to consider as well. But once those really activate, you're going to see a larger decline realistically in the market and kind of turning things around potentially. So some news, right? World Cup has already started as well. If anyone is a fan, good luck to your country, and that's pretty interesting to watch too. It's at weird hours. In terms of other news, we do have a decent bit of data that comes out right this morning already. We've had durable goods, initial jobless claims, and we have PMI composite flash that comes out right after the bell at 9:45. New home sales at 10, consumer sentiment at 10, 10:30, EIA petroleum inventories. We have nat gas as well. FOMC meeting minutes at 2 and 1:30. We have Jerome Powell that jumps on the wire. So if we're talking about what this market's looking like, we've dropped a bit here so far in the evening session, right? Slightly, nothing crazy, I would say. But right now, as it stands, I'd be watching the 4,002 on the S&P 100 futures. That's supposed to be a really good support. We're already up from that area, right? A decent little bounce from that area. And I'd want to also see how that level reacts again right off the open, because you were under a key level 4011, 4010, 4011. As long as that holds resistance and sellers come through that gate, right, I think there's going to be a little more downside in this market to try to press us lower. But if that does hold and we manage to leapfrog, if we manage to hold 4,002, 4,003, that region, I think we can get some buying strength. And that would be fairly poetic, right, leading into a holiday weekend. We have a nice strong move to the upside, right? I think a lot of people might be waiting for Jerome Powell in the FOMC, so we might have a more bland of a morning and open. But keep in mind, you start dropping under these key levels, right? 4,002, you start dropping under 3,993-ish. You're going to see a little more downside in the market. Now, the key turning point is going to be 3,988 in the S&P futures. If we actually manage to drop below that and close below that, I think there's going to be some more downside that leads into next week. Now, having said that, go check out our Black Friday sale at TRADEPRO Academy. I hope everyone's excited about that. And there's going to be a lot more news that comes out of TradePro over the next few weeks leading into the end of the year. So I hope everyone's excited about that. Hope Canada as well. Right? I'm not in Canada right now, but hope they do well. We'll be watching them as well. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. Whoever is celebrating Thanksgiving, enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time.